Welcome to the Millionaire Maker Show, a podcast helping online coaches monetize their life's work and scale their businesses to create more time, more money, more freedom, and more impact. Now, with over 20 years of business building, coaching, and consulting experience, here's your host, author, speaker, and creator of the Millionaire Maker coaching funnel, Lindsay Anderson.
Hey there, everybody. Welcome to the Millionaire Maker Show. I am your host, Lindsay Anderson, and I'm here, your resident expert in helping you grow and scale your coaching business through simple systems. I'll teach you how to attract high quality leads. This really is the podcast for you if you are a coach looking to really scale your business with ease and generate more time, more money, more freedom, and more impact. Before we hop in today's episode, and it's a very important episode because it really is the number one problem that coaches have when they go to scale their coaching business, and that is they run out of high quality leads. Many coaches come to me and they have really amazing coaching programs. The individuals who go through their coaching programs have a really amazing transformation, and they have no problem making big promises and keeping them on the other side of their coaching programs. But the problem is that these coaches really run into a lead generation problem. You have to have a hyper-focused marketing approach in order to attract these high-quality clients with this really specific problem that you can help with. So in today's episode, we're talking about lead gen, and I'm very passionate about lead gen. I have been digital marketing for over 20 years, and the quest for high quality leads is something I am always on the lookout for, the latest, greatest techniques, and really how to generate high quality leads for your coaching business. So this episode is for you. If you're struggling with lead gen, you're feeling overwhelmed in your coaching business, and you're tired of your current approach not really producing the results or the high quality leads on the other side that you really need in order to scale your coaching business. Now, today we're going to talk about your lead generation options, as well as the number one way right now that you need to be digging into to generate high quality leads for your coaching business. You really need to have a high quality lead generation system in your business, or you're just going to stay in the same place. Now, I have a very special tool for you that will also help you on the quest for high quality leads. And that is a 12-step quiz that I have for all of the awesome listeners of the Millionaire Maker Show. If you head over to themillionairemakershow.com/next step, I will guide you through 12 simple questions. You answer those questions for me, and on the other side, I will produce some very tailored results that will help you understand what you're missing in order to attract the right people to your coaching business. You really want to go and take this quiz. It will help you with your lead generation problem. It will help you with your marketing problem and your sales and acquisition problem. And overall, profitability in your coaching business. And between me and you, when I talk about profitability, I'm not only talking about money in your bank account, because granted, you can work and you can hustle and make a bunch of money. What I'm here to do and what the results of that quiz are to do is how can you set up really simple systems in your coaching business that will allow you to really not only have bank account freedom, but freedom of time, money, and impact. I call it Discover Your High Quality Lead Generation Plan, because lead generation is more than just getting names on the list. It's about attracting the right people. Those individuals who are genuinely interested in your coaching program have the problem that you solve and are willing to pay you money to solve that problem. This is a critical aspect of scaling any coaching business, and getting it right can really be the difference between surviving and thriving. So, if you're ready to stop guessing and start making real strategic decisions in your lead generation efforts, make sure you head over to themillionairemakershow.com/next steps. So let's dive into today's episode. There's really only a few ways in which you can generate high quality leads for your coaching business. We're going to go over all of them. They include number one, search engine optimization. Now, search engine optimization is the process of getting ranked on Google. A part of my business is running one of the most successful done for you agencies for coaches. That's called the BAM agency. And part of that, we have an SEO team. The thing with SEO is this: it can be very valuable traffic. However, the process of getting a blog or a website listed on Google, that is one problem. And you actually need a team and about 9 months in order for that to work effectively. But then you have another problem. Even if people are coming to your blog and consuming your information, then what does the funnel look like that will actually take them from that blog and into your coaching programs? That's a whole other problem that you have to deal with SEO, and it's gonna take a long time to figure that out. So for most coaches, search engine optimization as a game plan or a strategy to generate high quality leads is simply too expensive, too time consuming, and too out of reach. Which takes us to our next option, which is paid ads. Now, I'm a huge fan of paid ads. We've ran over $1 million worth of paid ads through our agency, so we know a thing or two about the complex landscape of Facebook and Instagram marketing. I'm going to go ahead and throw YouTube marketing in here, as well as TikTok marketing and LinkedIn marketing. All of these platforms have a really awesome way of pay to play. Now, while there are benefits to paid ads, you don't have to rely so much on the algorithms. You don't have to wait around and do a lot more testing. Instead, you can drive traffic right to a page and see if it's actually converting or not. However, the problem with paid ads are they are extremely risky. Everything is always changing. They're getting more and more complex. And quite frankly, it's very easy to invest in ads and see absolutely nothing on the other end. And while I love paid ads, here is my recommendation. If you're going to be spending more than $1,000 a month in a paid ad spend, you really want to make sure that money and that investment in the paid ad strategy is actually going into a campaign that has been tested. It's a funnel you've tested, it's a webinar or a masterclass that you've tested organically, and you actually understand and know your numbers so that when you turn on paid ads, you actually know how to fix and tweak the funnel. What you don't want to do is be really investing a bunch of money into paid ads and having the funnel not work and not really knowing if it's your audience or the messaging on the ad. Paid ads, very risky. Your next stop, and one of my favorites, and I love launches, okay? Launches is the third way in which you can generate high quality leads for your coaching business. Now, I love launches. I've launched so many times. My agency has a service where we actually help coaches go through their launches. We provide services, we run ads, we help them with their landing pages, we get it set up so that their launch is a huge success. And all they need to do is really show up to the launch, present, invite people to an enrollment call, and really do what coaches are best at. And that is talking to their clients and prescribing coaching programs after they teach a really amazing workshop. And that's the real power of a launch. Now, the problem with launches and your coaching business is this: a coach can really only launch about 3 times a year, because here's the situation. A launch is actually the perfect mix of a warm audience and a cold audience, providing social proof, getting really excited about what you're saying. You add a deadline at the end with some excitement, And that will really help people pull their wallets out of their back pocket and actually invest in what they need, which is transformational coaching. And launches can really gather all the people that you've been talking to, all the people that have been watching you on social media, and create a flashpoint or this launch event where you can make several six figures in about 10 days. So I love launches. The real problem is that a coach can only launch 3 times a year, which leaves many coaches on the revenue roller coaster. I hate using lingo and not explaining it, so let me explain to you what the revenue roller coaster is. I see it in my mastery program. In my coaching business, I have a one on one coaching program. I call it the Lindsay Anderson Coaching Mastery Program. And this thing is all about data. So we bring in coaches who are really stuck at a certain point in their business. They're servicing clients and they're unable to get over a certain income or revenue level. We bring them in, we look at their systems, we look at their teams, we look at their books, and we really create a COO and a CMO data driven approach to building their business. It's very hands on. And while we won't be doing any of the done for you work for them, we are empowering them to grow their own team, create their own systems, understand and create a super valuable marketing and sales system that will bring them coaching clients for years to come. Now, when we sign people up for the mastery program, I can see it a mile away. I look at their books, and sure enough, somewhere in the first part of the year, they've had this really big launch. They make several six figures. They're just loving it. Okay. There's a lot of money coming into that account. And then, sure enough, February, March, the money gets lower and lower on the books and the account. If you're looking at this on a bar graph, it looks like a childhood slide. And this is where coaches start sweating because they just had this multi six figure launch. They're flush with cash. They're super excited. They're ready to go. But that money goes very quickly. You're paying staff, you're paying marketing. The money ends up leaving. And by the time March rolls around, most coaches are really ready to launch again so that they can bring in some more cash flow to their business. So, sure enough, as I'm looking at their books, up in April pops another launch. They make several six figures, and then they spend the next several months servicing those individuals, gearing up for the next launch. And typically, this launch hopping, this launch to launch schedule leaves many coaches extremely burnt out, extremely frustrated, and honestly looking at their bank account and asking, what am I doing? Why am I putting all of this work in for that much money? That, my friends, is called the revenue roller coaster. So, launches, it's going to put you on the revenue roller coaster. And while they do work, as far as a consistent lead gen option that you can count on, especially now, where show up rates for launches, those used to be 20%. You would run an ad campaign, 20% of the people that gave you their email address would show up for the live show. A certain percentage, those guys would get on an enrollment call, and a certain percentage would actually enroll in a coaching program. But now, and when you take a data driven approach, you see this loud and clear. Only about 10% of people come to launches. And so actually show up, actually engage, even though they've raised their hand and said, yes, I would like to go. And so where coaches were making a ton of revenue before, it is almost cut in half, and it can be very difficult to scale a coaching business on launches alone. Which brings me to another lead source option, and that is relationships. Now, I love relationship marketing. If you're feeling stagnant in your coaching business, one of the best ways to get that moving is to attend a live networking event. When you attend live and you're shaking hands with people, the trust factor increases and you're able to really convey your value and trust so that people will enroll in your coaching programs. Not only that, relationships with your current coaching clientele, as well as relationships with your colleagues and other people in the market can really send referrals your way that end up in easier sales because the transfer of trust is there. And relationships are really something that is so important when it comes to scaling your coaching business. However, these things take time and you need a plan and you need a strategy. You just can't walk up to somebody, one of your colleagues, and say, "Hey, will you send an email about my next launch to your email list?" People just aren't going to do it. So, relationships, in order to be a viable solution as a lead gen strategy, you have to have a plan going in. It's a long term approach, but for most coaches, they don't plan enough. And so relationship marketing can't really get them unstuck. So, where does that leave us? Now, where that's going to leave us is, so what do we have? We got search engine optimization, too expensive, too time consuming. Paid ads, way too risky. Only want to use at scale if you already have a proven marketing and sales system. Launches, you can really only do those 3 times a year as a coach, and only relying on launches will leave you on the revenue roller coaster. Relationships, love relationship marketing. That's going to take a while, and a strategic approach to that. You really have to double down on relationships, and you can't always count on them to pay off. And which leaves us with social media. Social media, one of my favorite ways, and really the best way to increase your reach as a coach and gain access to those individuals that have the problem that you're trying to solve. I call them cookie cutter clients. And there's a couple of things you have to understand when you're going into social media to generate high quality leads for your coaching business. Number one, you have to understand it is quality versus quantity. You are not an influencer. Kim Kardashian makes her money because she is selling affiliate products or promotional links. She really wants eyeballs on her content. Now, as a coach, we want eyeballs, but the only eyeballs you really care about are of your perfect coaching client. It is a quality versus quantity game every time. And the second you take your eye off the prize and you start worrying about how many followers instead of who is following me, and are they the right person, and can I serve them, and do they look like a real person, the second you lose sight of that, your social media game will not work as far as generating high quality leads for your coaching program. So I always take a micro approach when it comes to posting on social media. You want to focus on the community. Focus on one person at a time. Instead of saying, how many people followed me today? Instead, say, how many high quality leads actually followed me today? And actually engage with them. Have a conversation with them like it is a one-to-one person, and you are really utilizing social media as your black book. You're storing these individuals that come to you. They are only high quality. And really, when you look at social media on a micro level like that, the algorithms really play along because they are just computer programs. Here we are in the day and age of AI, and the social media algorithms really want to see a pattern here. So it's in your best interest to make sure your social media is only full of high quality people that you can actually service. And guess what will happen? When you're using social media as a black book, as a way of communicating with your right clients, and you forget about how many followers you have, the algorithms will play in your favor. They will recommend you to friends of friends. Friends of friends will start seeing your content, and the algorithms will really start to support you. So that's number one. You got to understand it's quality versus quantity. Number two, you want to create visibility with only the right people. And this is what typically happens. You go on social media and you post a bunch of content, and you think, because I'm posting content, around my niche and around my topics, that's good enough. In fact, I'm just going to go get a VA to do it. And what you put into that and how you put it out there in the world is exactly what you're going to get out of it. You may get engagement. You may get people liking you. You may get a lot of followers. But as far as high quality coaching clients, if you are just posting and you don't understand who you're posting to in a very clear way, social media will not be a lead source that you can count on for your coaching business. So the way I really combat that and the way I like to teach it is through my one true client strategy. And to sum up that strategy, what you're going to want to do is you want to have one true client in your experience. And this has to be a real person. It can't be a Frankenstein of this person and this person. It also cannot be you. You want like a real person. And every single time you post on social media, every single time you put on a masterclass, every single time you write an email to your list, the best way to know if you have your messaging and your positioning right is you double check it with that one true client. And you say, what would Sally say about what I'm about to post? Would she be interested in it? And if the answer is no, you don't want to post it. Because what is going on is there are a lot of Sallys out there on social media. I promise. They have the same problem she has. They feel about it the same way. And they're looking for a solution just like Sally looked at in you. And when we start posting on social media and we're not double checking in with Sally, then we end up being all over the place. We end up talking to what I call lower left-hand quadrant people, those individuals that really like free information, but they're not quite ready to invest in a coaching program. And we end up being a really cheerleady and we don't really talk our expertise because those lower left-hand quadrant people are the individuals that really interact with us on social media. And so it can be a really easy way to go from talking to a high quality client up here and double checking with Sally to all of a sudden bringing, especially with ChatGPT, bringing down our messaging and not being quite so relevant to Sally. And exactly what Sally's going to do there is she's going to stop interacting with your content. You're going to stop showing up on her feed and she's going to be gone and not part of your ecosystem or ready to buy your coaching program. It's so important to check with your Sally, check with your one true client, and that really is the best solution to generating high quality leads on social media are those two things: understanding its quality versus quantity, creating visibility with the right people using my one true client method, and then finally, what do you post on social media? The answer is VEMS, VEMS. And I will do a whole episode dedicated to VEMS coming up here on the Millionaire Maker Show, but I want to go over it really briefly today. So V is for vibe. As a transformational coach, you got to put your vibe out there. Do you do mindset? Are you high energy? Are you gonna boss people around? Are you more gentle? Are you walking in your garden? Are you more mindful? People will coach with individuals that they really enjoy their vibe. So you have to be showing that out on social media. Next up, experience. The very best way to sell transformational coaching is to let people know you have experience solving the problem that they have. And so out on social media, you want to make sure that you're sharing those client stories, sharing those testimonials so that people can see that you're experienced. The M in the VEMS model is methodology. People like someone with a plan. So if you have a methodology, make sure you're sharing that on social media. Let them know what the name is, refer to it often. And finally, that brings us to skills. This is what most people will be posting on social media. These are the little how-to tidbits, how to really do this and that. So when you display your VEMS on social media, that is, my friends, how you attract high-quality coaching clients to your coaching business. Let's just sum it up for today. If you're looking for a high-quality lead source, Here's your options: search engine optimization, paid ads, launches, relationship marketing. But one of the best bet you've got is going to be social media marketing and stepping up your social media content game. And the solution for doing that is understand that it's quality versus quantity out there on social media. You want to create visibility with the right people by referencing your one true client every single time you post. And then finally, showcasing on social media your VEMs, your vibe, experience, methodology, and skills. If you do that and you start focusing there, you will be able to create social media into a high quality audience that then you can turn around and go and listen to my invite only event episode here on the Millionaire Maker Show on how to really get those individuals off of social media and into your coaching programs. Before I let you go, we did have a listener question, and they said, "Hey, Lindsay, I hear a lot about social media and that I need to be using it as a lead gen tool, but my posts don't seem to be engaging my audience. How can I use social media more effectively to attract my ideal clients?" And so here's what I would do. Again, I'm going to mention my virtual black book strategy. If you're just getting started on social media, go and clean it off, because this thing is all about algorithms. So if you followed everyone's page since 2022 that you came across, you got to go clean that off. As you're looking at your social media feed and things there that shouldn't be there, you're not quite sure why they're there, or they don't fit what you're trying to do, you want to unfollow them. What you want to do is be giving the social media algorithms the very best, most cleanest data that says, hey, social media algorithms, this right here, that is my perfect client. Go and create more of them. And when you really clean up and understand that you're feeding an algorithm, and then you post your VEMs on your social media, your vibe, your experience, your methodology, and skills, and you're actually watching people follow you, you're seeing who they are, you're messaging them legitimately, and you're really understanding how social media can work, and you're using it as a virtual black book, then this micro thing that you're working on in a very micro way can very easily be scaled and outsourced, and you can really blow this thing up. But if you don't understand the system on a micro level, it will never be successful at a macro level. So that's my biggest advice to you. Don't view it as a social media platform. View it as a client retention and a client relationship management system. Go in with that attitude. Enjoy your time on social media. That's something else I have to mention. If you hate social media, you think it's the bane of your existence and a total waste of time, and it's a real pain for humanity as a whole, yeah, I agree with you. But it exists. And if you have a crappy attitude going into social media, that's exactly what you're going to get out of it. So what I recommend is that instead of hating social media, needing to farm it out, viewing it as the bane of your existence or something that you don't want to deal with in your coaching business, I recommend changing your attitude, looking into it, playing around with it, viewing it as a tool, and really having a positive attitude about what it can do for your business. Even a simple change like that will produce higher quality clients on social media. So watch the energy at which you approach these lead gen strategies, because it's exactly what you will get out of it. So thank you very much for your question. If you have questions, make sure you go to themillionairemakershow.com/questions, and please ask me a question. I love to answer them here on the show. That's it. There is another powerful episode of the Millionaire Maker Show. Thank you so much for joining me today and learning about how to create high quality leads on social media. So glad you were able to join me. Make sure that if you're really struggling with your lead generation problems and none of the strategies that you're employing actually seem to work, make sure you go and take my lead gen map quiz. Head over to the millionairemakershow.com/next step. We'll send you a custom made, a tailored lead generation strategy telling you where to focus so that you can continue to expand your audience and attract those high quality leads on a really consistent basis. Go and take that quiz. Thank you so much for joining me on this episode of the show. If you enjoy the show, please go and leave me a review out on your favorite streaming service. I would sure appreciate it if you had an aha moment. If I was able to give you some valuable insight here, please let me know on those reviews. Until next time, I am your host, Lindsay Anderson. Cheers to you and your success.
Thank you for listening to the Millionaire Maker Show with master business coach and creator of the Millionaire Maker coaching funnel, Lindsay Anderson. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any future episodes. Until next time.